Hey guys, how you guys doing? Welcome back for another episode on the weekly CTF, and today we're doing OMNI CTF. Um, I finished first one and second. Perhaps we'll wrap it up some tomorrow. But I like to getting to the first one, and it's pretty interesting how they designed it because they had a little bit actually a rabbit hole or a little trap for you to to fall inside. If you're just using AI and you know kind of vibe hacking, this can be a little bit problematic. But anyway, let's look into the sites, right? So there's like three tabs right here. The first directory is just the dashboard itself. It doesn't give any information. Second one is the login. I have tried some like SQL injection just to see if there any error pops out or why I don't suppose XSS help, but stuff like that, right? Just to see if there's any obvious giveaways, but it doesn't have it. And in here, like I talked about, the little AI rabbit hole right here, I think they just give you uh, a a little piece of information just to tell you what look like the structure and stuff like that. And if you just copy paste into the source code, the AI probably like saying, "Oh, wow, look at this. The transfer encoding is chunked, so that probably flag is HTTP smuggling." And so if I send, if I jam to the request into one, I give some like padding around here, I probably can get the session, and that's probably where the employee secrets live, and blah 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 blah. I don't know. I don't know how it does it, but I'm probably gonna waste you a good amount of time. But it is a good opportunity to know what is HTTP smuggling is. So if you haven't checked it out, so check out Burp Suite Lab and understanding. I think it's James Kittle, if I don't pronounce his name, that came up with the concept. It's actually pretty cool. So what it does is really is just grabbing a well two HTTP request. It could be different method, it could be different headers, but whatever that might be. Right, I read the first one. You just jam your first one and the second one together, kind of masquerading or forcing the server to give out two response, but in one request. That way, perhaps uh, the first, the first request authentication is correct, but the second one isn't. So that way, you can kind of abuse it by using one request but hitting two endpoint by by um by just doing the by just abusing HTTP protocol. But mainly, they have a lot of good remediation now. But back then, I remember like maybe 2022, 23, when it really got popular. It was a big thing. But anyway, back to CTF. So they have a personnel login right here, and here's a little hint right here, Casey right here, right? So she's assigned. We can try to log in with her name and stuff. It doesn't really work, but however, there is recover access credential, and that'd be helpful if we just put her name in. Let's do lowercase actually. Doubt she'll register with a uppercase name. And here we go to network. Just to kind of go through the motion of the um, app right here, right? Like sometimes when you start hacking or you're trying to exploit some things, I mean, finding vulnerability is definitely important. But of course, understanding where the data flow goes from point A to point B and how does that being handled, and that could be, well, sometimes it yield more fruit than just testing every endpoint with every vulnerability that known to man. Sometimes it's more effective and it just makes more sense that way. So so I think this is part of the um, app like this. So if you give her the one that's up there with the capital C, it doesn't really see anything. So if if a user exists, the link has been sent. It's like pretty secure stuff. But however, right here, you do have a response, and right here is being recorded. It's GWT token. So we probably can do this. I already have it here. So here's a preview URL with username and the RID right here. So we can load this up. Do I need to extend it? No, it should be good. All right. Oh, sorry. They're probably from the previous session. Grab this. Echo. And we'll decode right here. Yeah, sorry guys. It's kind of late for me. It's like 1:30 in the morning. So sorry I'd be skipping steps or stuff like that. Please let me know if anything I explained not so clear, where there's anything I can have a better way to solve it, or anything I can do better. Please let me know. I'm all ears. But yeah, we got the new password setting right here. We just set up to test, so there's no any authentication for setting password. It's a big no-no. But I guess it's CTF, the first one. They have to start somewhere, right? So now we get to log in here, and we have all those cool functions about SCP. You can see the personnel here. Wow, 05 call. So I don't know what that is. That sounds like a very high position, and I think I heard of this. I don't know. It's a fan-based fiction or universe. I don't know what that is, but I heard of it. It's kind of cool. They got anomalies right here. Like, think for people who don't know, they just collect monsters and weird phenomenons and on Earth, where I don't know, maybe in the space as well. So they just kind of just walk around and grab stuff, and yeah, they have their registry. So yeah, we can go around and just to check if there's any functionality that's are good. Mostly it's just informational, and until I see this. So template. So something that you can do with web template or server-side template injection, because it looks very familiar. This is Jinja 2. Like, wow, that's a good giveaway. So SSTS, a good way to test is, oh, sorry guys, my back bracket button's still not fixed, so bear with me. Is actually to test it, does this actually run, which is render as 7x7, right? And there you go. Python code is actually running in the back. So there's lots of ways we can do things. We can just check configs right here. It should give us something, right? And there we have it. The config of the backend. I don't know if it rendered all the way, but in this case, it's already showed us the copy of the flag is flags.txt. We can just read the flag right here, since we already know, unless it's somewhere else, not in this directory. Then read files. Then do I do a parentheses? I believe, right? And hopefully this worked. And there we go. Yes, and there's our first flag. Cool. I think it's pretty straightforward, unless I skip some steps. There's like some complicated stuff that I need to do, which I don't know. But yeah, I think that's how I got it. It's just kind of you gotta just dig around as the hints are there. Nothing too crazy is happening, and you just kind of have. I think there's like what vulnerability wise, like exploit wise, like vulnerability you have to do. I think there's only like SSTI and I don't know if you count basics for decoding, but it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward, but it's something fun. You can enjoy it. There's a couple of steps you have to get there, so you kind of have to read and kind of understand stuff. But we can go on to the second one called Stay Wild, and this one's kind of a bit tricky. I spent a bit of time on this just because it had another rabbit hole, and it wasn't it wasn't too bad, but they made it really obvious, and that make you think, okay, here's a vuln here, like what can I do with it, right? Well, yeah, we can read the description real quick too. So somewhere is hiding, right, and never to be exposed. You look carefully, it's just not on the website. Blah blah blah. Something's hitting the website. So that given to me, I'm just start thinking maybe it's robot.txt, right? You gotta try this always, just to see what they're hiding. If there's a hint, it's probably there. So it is there, and it's just telling you there's an archive tool somewhere in the website, and you don't know. So since I already did this, I actually don't like this in a CTF, which is you have to fuzz, which you kind of have to guess. But I can just tell you right here, it's called staging. It's a directory you kind of have to figure out. Well, it's not too hard of a directory to guess, but it's there. So that hint we got right here, and we looked around, and here is a good good old good old section for the messages where you probably can render your HTML. And oh yeah, if you do end up checking the back, if you do end up checking the source page source, you can see the inner HTML function right here. And just taking the note and the message by itself, so it can take not they don't just take his text, but they take his code, so they'll render code itself. So you probably can do image and on error and give stuff like that. So I did stuff like this, and it is bolded and it does work, but it doesn't yield anything because right, we're not really trying to phishing someone or have someone do a CSRF, stuff like that. It's just against the system. So nothing too crazy here, but if you check everything, it's always interesting. Here is a cookie, and the name is role, and the value is visitor. I'm assuming this is for us to change. We can just change to admin, right? It's all false, make it very, very insecure. So I guess the author had expecting us to do this. So now we can get back to the staging environment or directory, and let's take a look what's happening here. So it's just kind of taking a file name and putting a file, taking a file in and reading the file names and just saying is it being archived or not. So we can't read too much from here. Let's try it out, and only it's using tar, right? So we can just create a simple tar file and just load it up to see what happens here. Let's do touch test dot tar. Okay, we can upload it to here. CTF OMNI test tar. There we go. It got rejected because the file name. That's very interesting. I think it probably, if we do file test tar, yeah, I don't think it's actually reading anything in there. It doesn't. The extension isn't a tar, so we actually have to make a tar file, which is okay. So which we did right here. Actually, I have all the tar here, so we can do an X tar. I can show you. I made a little quick script for this. So what it does is just it takes a tar file and shove some commands in, or yeah, commands into its metadata. So I just learned about how tar file works. So there's like a several different headers you can declare your data on it, and one of them it's just called the metadata header. I'm not too sure if I'm getting this right or wrong, but this one is just literally putting um, your command into the header, and once it start uh, unzipping or unarchiving um, the file, so it will go through all the headers, and in there there's a flag called checkpoint, and in here it will start run your script right here. So you can actually read this from GTF opens, and if we do tar, you can see it right here. So if one of the ways to just get out and start doing RC and stuff like this, so that's what it does. So when they unzip it, right, is that like as XRCV or something like that. So whenever unzip it, it will read the checkpoint, which is the metadata, and we actually start running the bash shell if it's not updated and stuff like that. So we have this right here. So we can upload one files right here called the X. So what this does is just kind of really set up a bash script. There's nothing in there really. So at first it will take a scan. It will scan the code. Scan the files. Anything wrong with it? Or we can test it out with this. So we have different different tar file right here, and we look at tar2. So basically it's still doing the same thing, but however it's making two file. First file is the making the x bash file in there, and then this file called the full RCE file, just kind of grab whatever is in the CMD, then it will write to that file, then a file name called trigger being called, then that will call that file and write into that and run the SH itself. So there's reason for that, right? Otherwise I would just write in the one file. So if you grab the payload itself, right, and you try to run it. Oh well, never mind. It does work. Never mind, guys. I guess I'm just being weird. I couldn't swear I got blocked earlier for. Oh yeah, I think earlier I got blocked because I looked for flag, and I think flag was one of the blacklist. I got blocked. So yeah, there's a blocked file name. So in order for us to keep receiving, we kind of have to do the separate way to do this. So we can upload this xtar. It just have nothing in there. It's just empty sh in there. And now we can upload another thing, which is the full RCE. And the full RCE, which is kind of explain. I'll just kind of add the command itself in there and make the X file executable. Then we'll do the go file, which is kind of triggered and call that for RCE, and RCE then call the X and X execute the bash script itself. So we can't really upload this right here, but it's kind of interesting. If you look at the source code right here, this is only for admin. So actually, we have to change our uh, session cookie to admin. But once you have this uh, window enable, the experimental intake, it just allow this button to go. So it's really just a front end check, and you kind of just can bypass by running um, in the DOM right here in the console. And now that should be clickable. Here we go. Now we can add this for RCE right here. Run this. Now the checkpoint is set, and now whenever the file is being run, it's looking for running this file, running this SHs right here. So now we can upload the Go right here, and it will tell us where is the flag is. So just to save us some time, they don't actually have a flag file in the store. So if you have any trouble looking for that, I understand. I kind of have to use AI to help me to map it out. They're almost kind of whole system and what's interesting and what's not. So one of the things that we found is like OPT wild, I guess fits the theme. But in one of the cache file right here, it has one of the flag encoded right here. So if you like the command, I'll let you know. But I think once you get the RCE, it's a fair game, right? You can go wherever you want to do anyway. But this is just a quick demonstration for that. And we can just do this. And there you go. That's your file. So let's backtrack a little bit. I feel like I went through it too fast. So what the exploit chain it really was, it just at first we have found I guess through fuzzing we have find this staging area, right? And through this staging area, and we saw we can change our session into admin. From admin we can upload stuff, and it's kind of taking in the back, I'm assuming is something like this. It's like tar the archive name, then give it the name itself, right? So what we're trying to do, or just actual stuff right here. So what we're trying to do is insert a file right here, which is X, and in the X, when this is read it, then it's not only zipping the file itself, it's actually running the code by doing this. Right? It's running a SHH file right here, so it's being cut off. Once that's being run, and the X, sorry, before that we upload the X SH in there first, right? So once that being unzipped, and we're trying to run full RCE, which means it's checking the SH in right here and write the command into SH, right? This is what essentially the full RCE file does. Then when we run go, which means it's calling the full RCE to trigger this. So it could the go and RCE could be in the same file anyway, but essentially this is the vulnerability, right? Right here, that we can escape from tar right here, and to run commands using tar or exploiting tar. So I guess this is it. Hopefully I explained this is okay. It's really getting late. Sorry, I'm not really here. Maybe I should do this another time. But if there's any confusion or there's any uncertainty, please let me know. But I appreciate it if I've watched this far. I really appreciate that, man. But yeah, that's it. If you have any question, please let me know. Otherwise, you guys have a great day.